Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Tell Your Friends podcast. This is Season 3, Episode 8, NFL Week 6. Drew DeSalle here, coming at you live from the Bird Street studio. Sitting across the table is our boy Mikey Jeets Cyberg. What up, Mike?
Hey, how we doing? Good to be back. It feels like every time we do a podcast, I'm saying good to be back.
Are you riding the high from the Yankee W?
Yeah, with this podcast was going to be certainly a tale of two podcasts. You're going to get two very different versions that were clearly focused on whatever the Yankees' outcome was. So, yeah, we just wrapped up Game 4 of the ALCS, and the Yanks came back from 4-0 in the 8th inning. And we got ourselves a series tied 2-2. So you're going to get a very cheery, exciting podcast from us.
Yeah, you guys, the Yanks, that is, man. I was watching. I'm like, you guys are coming back from every deficit. You're catching some pretty good breaks. I mean, that's good vibes for you guys. You gotta have a good feeling about them now.
Great feeling going into Game 5 tomorrow at 5. I think I'm going to pull up the TV to the deck, maybe smoke a hot stogie.
You got to see what the weather report is. Hopefully it's still warm.
It's nice.
It's been getting colder now.
It's going to warm up. It's going to be about 70 degrees. I carefully planned this. I was like, which day is better? And tomorrow, I figure with the podcasting, tomorrow would be the better shot.
Nice.
So feeling good.
I'm jealous, man. You got to enjoy it. I wish my team was fucking there. Or we'll get there someday, hopefully. But baseball playoffs, I'm definitely more into it this year. It's been fun to follow.
Yeah, I get into it every year, regardless of whether the Yankees or whoever's in it. I know you've said it's because of my Yankee pedigree.
Yep.
That it's something I've been raised on. Playoff baseball every year. So, but even if the Yankees aren't there, I'm invested.
Do you think you're gonna end up trying to go to any of these games? I know you were talking about you were potentially gonna go tonight. You had an offer, but
had a chance to go tonight. Definitely. I don't want to say regretting that decision because you never know what happens when has these decisions in our lives, Jerry. But yeah, it would have been nice to have been.
2020.
Would have been nice to have been there for that. But moving forward, yeah, tomorrow's the last game of the ALCS at home. But if they advance the World Series, it's a weekend series next weekend. I would, think that could be a possibility that I'll be in the ballpark.
Do you know the pitching matchup yet, or is that too early?
For tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's a rematch of Game 1, Dallas Keuchel versus Masahiro Tanaka.
Keuchel's tough, but you guys have touched him up.
Tough, but tying the series up, it would have been tough to have our backs against the wall against that guy. So it's nice to have a little breathing room.
What about football notes here? I know I was very excited. My Steelers, right, finally got the W over Kansas City in what was a pretty good game on Sunday.
I told you last week, man. I said all the signs point to KC coming off an ugly loss to Jacksonville where Roethlisberger threw 4 or 5 picks.
A lot of bad breaks in the Jacksonville game. But I know I'll give you the credit. You definitely called it. But I've been one to be saying, a lot of the Pittsburgh hubbub and news is – been, maybe Ben doesn't have it anymore, and we suck this year. We're losing to bad teams like the Jaguars. And, that comment alone, right, bad team Jaguars, they maybe end up being a good team at the end of this year. But
I've been taking a loss yesterday, too.
I've been sitting here saying, Steelers, we're not in trouble yet. Nobody's necessarily injured yet. Big time knock on wood, right? But I like where we're at. I mean, we're sitting here now. I think we got Ben in more of a rhythm. Our defense shut down KC, and not even a lot of just turnovers, but forcing punts on what's supposed to be one of the best offenses, right? So a good get-right game.
Yeah, definitely a good game to feel good about the team again coming. And that's just that NFL season for you. Anybody can beat anybody. Mm-hmm. Which, look at my New York Football Giants getting their first W of the year Sunday night. You get to a weird limbo in the season where you're almost rooting for them to lose. It's like, all right, well, 0-4, 0-5, they're not going anywhere this year.
Yeah.
But it's, you're thinking, I want that high draft pick, top 3, maybe get a quarterback in the draft. But it still sucks losing week in and week out. And it felt nice to get that one off the chest, to rattle it off. And it's nice to have a win under the belt.
There's a good sports quote. I don't know who it's from. It's from somebody. I didn't make it up. But it's talking about your hometown team or whoever you cheer for. Say, hey, you don't love them because they're good. You love them because they're yours.
That's right. And I'm loving them because the Yankees are keeping my attention off them. So I'm hoping that continues for at least another 2 weeks.
What other weird plays or things? The only big play that sticks out to me was that Safari and Jenkins, Jets, touchdown, fumble, touchback against the Patriots.
Yeah, that one was controversial, wasn't it?
And I'll tell you what, I was looking at like an NFL power rankings, and I see them putting the Patriots up top there. I guess you kind of have to with Belichick, with Brady, but that's at least the second game now, right? Because we had that Tampa Bay game, right, where the kicker missed all the field goals against them, and now it's this Jets game with the controversial touchback. I mean, those could easily be 2 L's for them. And they have 2 extra losses. This is a whole different season for the Patriots. They're singing a whole different tune in that town.
Yeah, a lot of these calls go their way, but I think at the end of the day, they're just going to be there. When you're playing 6 divisional games against the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills, I mean, you're going to get your 12, 13 wins. Even if they only end up with 11 wins this season, they're still going to be there in the AFC Championship game. You could book it now, October 17th. The New England Patriots will be in the AFC Championship game this year.
Right.
And I think right now you'd say Pittsburgh is going to be a good contender to be there.
That's the way it does seem. And I know a lot of Pittsburgh fans even are, obviously we're getting ahead of ourselves. We always do, right? They're already looking and saying, hey, this could be a down year for the Patriots. Like we might have a real shot at this sort of thing. Anyways, let's get into some matchups here. How about that? So first up, we got maybe this year versus Titties. We got a battle of the Tims. Tim Hartnett versus Timmy Maffitt. And this first matchup was High Player of the Week. Goes to Melvin Gordon.
High Player of the Week. Is this number 4 for Timmy?
He has been on a fucking streak with those things.
And he's diversified his assets. It's not just coming from one guy.
Yeah.
He's gotten it from Brady. He's gotten it from Hunt.
Right. It's the usual suspects, but it's one of those 3 or 4, right?
I think this is his 4th in week 6.
Jeez.
So he's really taking advantage of that new addition to our league this season.
Yeah. Payday for him. Melvin Gordon got 36, though, for him. Yeah, that's what we were saying. Usual suspects, right? Hunt, Brady, Gordon.
That's a strong week, though.
And Maffitt, who he came out and won in week 1, now he's lost 5 straight. So he's really struggling looking for a W.
Yeah, it's tough to see. I think I play him next week, so hopefully he extends his losing streak by 1 more.
There you go. I don't know if it was a management thing or not. I saw like Macklin didn't play and he had him in there, and then he played Andre Ellington, which he was kind of hampered because Adrian Peterson came to town, and he's the fucking new hotness in town there in Arizona. He had 2 TDs, I think.
It's a tough break to catch, you know?
Yep. Now, Timmy Hartnett, he put up 151 as a team, right? So that would normally be a pretty good contender for shootout of the week, right? High team of the week. But Mr. Nolan, Dick's Girthquake, he almost eclipsed 200 points. He had 193.
Yeah, very impressive by Dick's Girthquake. And we're still waiting for our first week, by the way, of high player and high team. That could have been it. Yep. I can't believe we haven't gotten there yet, week 6. It's going to be a big announcement when that happens.
At this point, you're going to have to predict it as being Tim Hartnett's team, just the way that they're rolling and scoring. But Nolan's team is also 6-0.
I gotta pick Dick's Girthquake. I mean, this league is turning into Dick's Girthquake and everybody else.
Yeah.
He's clearly separated himself from the pack. I think the rest of the league is up for grabs. And Nolan keeps on getting it done. He actually doesn't have the highest points in our league, by the way.
Overall? Mm-hmm. Who's that coming as?
That would be you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Look at that. I didn't even know that.
I don't think... Oh, you do have...
Thanks for pumping me up.
You're welcome. You do have one high...
Yeah.
A couple high weeks.
At least one, maybe 2. Maybe a high team and a high player. But this one was Nolan versus Bonesaw. And it's not even worth fucking mentioning who did good for Nolan's team, because it was fucking everybody.
Jesus, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, Keenan Allen only had 9.5 points, and that's really the worst you can say. You just got to tip your cap to him, say good job.
Yeah, look at Mark Ingram with 30. That's insane.
Yeah, Bonesaw found himself on the wrong end of this massacre. Not a terrible week for his team. Pryor kind of had a soft week with 5.3, and he spot started Jets running back Elijah McGuire. Didn't really pan out for him.
Bonesaw wasn't going to beat many teams in our league with that 101 total, so what's the difference at that point?
True. All right, next up we got 10 inches of cock, Mr. Stephen Pedley versus Jonesing for some ice.
10 inches of Pedley.
Cameron Brate, Golden Tate, Christian McCaffrey. Those were the highlights for Pedley getting the job done. His only real dud was Chris Hogan, only had 1 catch, but he cruised to victory over Viggs.
And Viggs, another team who's just struggling to get things going. I feel like deja vu all over again. I feel like we were talking about this exact same situation last year.
So true.
If it wasn't for Ray.
So true. He's in some dark times, my friend.
I heard Viggs is on the line with Ray right now trying to corral him into the league. He's like, I need someone to be lower than me.
He needs a doormat.
We'll get Ray back in this league next year, Viggs. Don't worry.
Viggs, his team, they didn't have a terrible week, right? Like decently well-rounded, but it just kind of lacked that breakout performance that you need. The way our league is, and with 10 teams and the PPR, somebody's having a hell of a week. And if that guy's not on your team, you're probably looking at a loss.
Yeah, below average performances across the board.
All right, next up we got the Bird Street U matchup. We got Mikey Jeets versus
Hey.
Ozier Daddy O-Dog. Maybe a quasi-rivalry week here, potentially.
Sure, and let's not be remiss by your boy riding a fucking hot streak.
Yeah,
By
third
the way,
straight W for you.
I'm thinking about this. We swore a lot more, at least I swore a lot more when we first started these podcasts. That actually felt a little funny coming off the tongue. Fuck.
Speak your mind on here, Mikey.
Feels good to get it back out there. I don't know. I'll have to go back and roll it back to that Giants episode where I was
pissed,
distraught after that game.
I know, we couldn't. All you kept talking about was the Giants. It was the only thing you would bring up, and it was so fucking negative.
There must have been a few fucks in there. But yeah, man, I felt pretty good about this one. I thought for sure I was in trouble after Rodgers goes down.
Yep.
But my other players stepped it up. Big performances out of your boy Brown.
Yeah, AB.
Your boy Jerick McKinnon.
Fournette, too.
The hot pickup of the week. Got him in both leagues, motherfucker.
Little waiver wire, right?
We've unleashed the dogs.
Little
waiver wire pickup.
Kelvin Benjamin, too. I don't know if you mentioned him. He did good for you.
Yeah, solid. So I actually lucked out by picking up Carson Wentz, going against my rule of picking interdivision rivals. Doesn't matter when your team's 1-5. And I'm pretty satisfied that I have a decent quarterback despite the injury. This is before he got hurt.
Yeah, so this is 3 straight, get you back to 500. And on the flip side of this matchup is O-Dog. He had Carson Palmer with 24 points, Baltimore D special teams, who he's been riding that Baltimore and Justin Tucker combo. But the Baltimore D had 20 points. Otherwise, he kind of fell flat. So you get the W to go to 500. He takes the L to go to 500. So 2 teams maybe trending in opposite directions.
Yeah, I think I had O-Dog pretty high in our inaugural power rankings a couple weeks ago, and he's definitely, I think, taken at least 2 in a row.
2 at the same damn time. No, he's right in the middle of the pack, I'd say. I think he could beat anybody on any given week. Just not his day, not his week.
Like I said, it's everyone's pretty much right there with the exception of a couple teams.
Right.
And it's going to be a fun little battle down the stretch to get these last couple playoff spots. Really, these last 5 playoff spots. You could pretty much lock up Dick's Earthquake, but everything else is up for grabs.
What's Hartnett's record?
He's 3-3 too, right in the mix.
Wow, he's only 3-3.
Yeah, there's 4 3-3 teams.
I think his squad or the points he's putting up are slightly better than his record potentially. But last matchup, we got my squad. We got Dunder Mifflin Inc. versus Not Theon Tyreek, Mr. Game of Thrones, Nicholas Webb, and
this one was tight.
Yes, pretty good points wise, both sides. Simeon in the spot start got the job done for me, even though he was kind of injured or not injured. I think he might have. Did he go out and then come back in or something?
Yeah, he missed a couple plays.
This was the Dallas.
Look at the original projection of this game.
What was it? Big
128.08 to 129.08 to 128.83. So within point.
Yeah.
2.
Interesting. This was Dallas bye week for Webb, so he had Zeke and he had Dez who were out. So that kind of he had to kind of play through that.
Definitely a different ball game, and he dodged a bullet with Zeke tonight.
Yeah, what is he? They said he was out again then, right? But now they again came and said he's not out.
It's a goddamn tennis match at this point.
It's flip-flop.
Back and forth.
So many fucking times. I never thought this would have been how it played out. Do you think it's over finally?
Who knows? It's the constant appealing. They take it all the way up to the goddamn Supreme Court. It's just back and forth. I don't know. I think they'll counter and try to get a couple games knocked off.
Jeez. Crazy.
But for the time being, Webb has certainly dodged a bullet with all that back and forth.
Yeah. He had good weeks out of Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, but not enough to bail him out. And your Dunder Mifflin boys get the W, which I love.
Yeah, and you got to say that Devontae's stock is going to be going down, losing Rodgers. That's going to be tough.
Very good point, my friend. Very good point.
Although, what's his name? Brett Hundley, or whatever his name is, did throw the touchdown to Devontae, so maybe it's his new favorite target.
Yeah, I heard somebody saying they were like, "Oh, Hundley's ready to rock and roll in there, and he just needs to get some practice under his belt, and he'll be good." I don't know, man. I've never heard of him before. Skeptical.
Yeah, they're in trouble. And leaves the NFC wide open. Not to mention Dick's Earthquakes having himself a football season. His 5-1 Eagles, his 6-0 fantasy team. He's having all kinds of fun.
Yeah,
We need that kid to come crashing back down to earth.
they're at the top of their. I looked at that too. They're at the top of the power rankings when people that power rank the NFL.
It's too early though, so a lot of shit happens in that second half of the season. I'll wait for the chips to fall where they will. Come mid-December, I think we'll have a better picture of where things are going to be going.
No doubt. We got a bit of a decent timestamp on this. Want to do some B list?
Fire up the B list.
All right. So one thing I saw, I said Tiger Woods is officially back to resuming golf activities. How do you feel about that?
So what does that entail? Will he be playing in tournaments?
Well, this is more or less the off season for golf, right? They kind of play weird events, one here or there, a small field event. Don't they do like Asia stuff too, right?
He'll play in that World Star
Dubai.
Hip Hop Tour, whatever he did last year. He didn't
Right.
even finish that.
And then like January, where everything really starts roaring back to life, right?
Yeah, I guess, by the time you get the Waste Management Open kicking off, you're starting to get into it again. You're starting to itch for the Masters.
And I mean, I think it's got to be awesome, right? You love to see Tiger Woods back playing, but I would just hate to see him come out to some real events and just be playing like old man Tom Watson golf.
My only thing here is how many times are we going to hear Tiger is back?
Yeah.
That headline is so played out. I need him to be playing meaningful golf on a Sunday for me to be excited about it. I just don't see it happening.
In my opinion, is a good time for him though, because he does have that. He has months and months to really hone his game or hone his skills back to where he thinks they need to be in time for meaningful golf to turn around at the beginning of the year, right?
I guess, but we've heard he's coming back so many times. I have to see it to believe it at this point.
So what? And Lindsey Vaughn's out now, right? Who's he? He's with? Oh yeah, he had that new chick.
The
that's
new
right,
girlfriend
at
that
the
had us
President's
look
Cup.
up.
Yeah. I wonder if that's still working out for him.
I don't know.
And then one other note I saw the Barstool Boys, right? The everybody loves the Barstool Boys. They're teaming up with ESPN, right? I really don't know the details though. Fill me in on
The
what's
details.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting. The details are it's your boys Big Cat and PFT. Your pardon my take, boys.
I kind of do like PFT. It makes me laugh.
He's a funny guy. They have a weekly show on ESPN2
Really?
at 1 a.m. on Tuesday. It actually starts tonight.
Holy shit! Wait, 1 a.m. on
1
Tuesday?
So I guess they're appealing to the college audience with that one because I can tell you I won't be seeing it.
Jesus, I guess you got to catch replays of that. But even the college kids, I mean, 1 a.m. on Tuesday.
Yeah, I wasn't staying up that late in college.
I could see like a Thursday or a midnight on some day,
But the brand is getting bigger. I think it's a big step for them. It actually came with a little bit of controversy. Your girl Sam Ponder was throwing some stones. I don't know if you saw any of this.
I just saw her name in a blurb.
Barstool obviously is very polarizing in this
Right.
wonderful world of 2017 that we live in, where everyone's getting raped or abused or crying about some goddamn shit.
Gotta be careful how you address this.
Everyone's awfully touchy, and Barstool is what you could argue to be an easy target.
Yeah.
They have the pretty girls and they have the frat bro culture.
Did somebody say something to Sam Ponder, or they just have had it out for a while?
I guess they've had it out for. I guess there was an incident a couple of years ago that Sam Ponder held a grudge for, and she made some comment about I don't know, misogynistic, whatever the typical Barstool stuff is.
Yeah.
And they're saying a lot, and I don't know if this is just the Barstool point of view, but there's a lot of jealousy in ESPN that the Barstool boys are kind of getting this opportunity, despite the time frame and the 1 a.m. on Tuesday slot, when they may think that they're more deserving.
I'm surprised that ESPN's really doing it. I mean, what have we been doing, or what is it? I feel like most of the public's been doing has been bashing ESPN for sucking, right? Saying, ESPN sucks and they're losing ratings and it's going down and blah, blah. And this is really a change in direction from them if they're going to go for like a full-on partnership, if they're going to grow this kind of partnership with Barstool.
Well, I think it's a byproduct of their, the failing New York Times, the failing ESPN, lack of subscriptions. They have to take a different direction. They're seeing this works, and it's definitely a risk. I don't think everyone embraces the Barstool audience like 27, 28-year-old males do in our shoes.
But it's almost like a can't beat 'em, join 'em type deal, I think, right? And I'm surprised on the Barstool side that they agreed to it even,
Sure, I think the irony is that ESPN came after Pardon My Take and hit them with a couple of cease and desists because they were clearly ripping off their names, and here we are 2 years later, and they are partnering. But it's a big step for Barstool.
Are they calling that? Are they calling it Pardon My Take?
They're calling it Van Talk.
Van Talk.
But it's the Pardon My Take boys.
I gotcha. Well, interesting. I don't know. I'm going to have to catch a replay or something. I doubt I'll watch it live, but I'm curious to see how that works.
Yeah, me too. I know Scott Van Pelt's the first guest, friend of the program.
SVP. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, right down the line. It's easy to kind of get him from both angles. I don't think Sam Ponder's coming on the show anytime soon.
Well, maybe they'll probably do something with her for like some ratings eventually. But all right, what else you got to sprinkle in here before we sign it off, Jeets?
Nothing. Game 5 tomorrow, 5 o'clock sharp. Cruising right into the weekend. It's exciting time to be a Yankee fan and in the football. The best time of the year, I say all the time. Beautiful weather, awesome sports. NBA kicked off today.
Yep.
And you got hockey in pretty much full swing.
I got my go ahead. Did I cut you off?
Nope, got nothing.
I got my boy Sean Jones, my good old high school friend, getting married over the weekend in the Berg, so it's going to be a fun party. Throw it around, see some old buddies, and yeah, good vibes. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in this week. Everybody have a good week, good weekends.
Hey, get it rocking and tell your friends.